Should the U.S. intervene in Badistan? Hello and welcome to Collateral Damage on Empire News Network. I'm Anchor Lady. The White House is mulling airstrikes in Badistan following allegations of human rights abuses on social media. In case you're instinctively opposed to U.S. military intervention, after the last ones turned out so bad, we turn to our panel of experts who are totally objective, neutral, and super knowledgeable about the unfolding crisis to tell viewers why the U.S. has no choice but to respond with humanitarian bombs. Joining us today, we have retired General Hal I. Burton. He's now a defense industry consultant whose ties we're not going to disclose. We also want to welcome ENN contributor, senior fellow at the Institute for the Promotion of War, and consultant for the Council for a Free Badistan, Charlotte Blister. And our third guest is Besma Haddadian, professor of Badistan history, who's just back from a boring summer doing research in the archives there. She doesn't think we should intervene. No one really cares what she has to say, but to preserve the image of balance, here she is. General, let's start with you. Should America get involved in yet another conflict in the region?
Well, we don't have much of a choice, Anchor Lady. We gotta bomb, baby, bomb. The U.S. has to stand by the people of Badistan. We can't allow their brutal leader to get away with these abuses. Otherwise, where does it end?
Professor, care to weigh in?
Yes, well, you have to understand the context and the history.
We need a credible threat of a robust and muscular response, and we need to arm the Free Badish forces who are pro-American and secular. I know because they told me. Let's not forget, the people of Badistan are demanding freedom, and their bodies are so brown and oppressed and sitting on top of so much oil. Living on top of that much oil has been known to cause extreme health problems. For the sake of the children, we have got to get that oil out.
But one major criticism is the cost. Some say America shouldn't be wasting money abroad when there are so many things right here at home that should be prioritized.
Indeed, we're already spending
if we don't bomb, then I don't get paid. Think about the military industry executives, Anchor Lady. This is about American jobs. And of course, there's the people of Badistan waiting for us to save them. American credibility is at stake.
Right, if we don't act, they're all going to die. Right, Charlotte? Tell us what the people there want.
Well, I've never been to Badistan, and I don't speak the language, but my think tank does receive funding from the State Department and NATO, and I've read Wikipedia's Badistan page 3 times. So I can't think of anyone more qualified than me to opine on this.
Oh, don't be so modest. You've also met with exiles in hotels and organized track 2 meetings between them.
Exactly. Thanks for that, Anchor Lady. And what those exiles who no longer live in the country and therefore won't suffer the consequences of U.S. military intervention have told me is that we should definitely save the people of Badistan with America's military might. It's the only way. We should also arm the Badish rebels in their just fight for freedom against this evil regime.
Excuse me, we have been intervening. We'll get back to you in a moment, but first, let's see what the general has to say.
Well, yeah, the rebels need American support, preferably anti-tank missiles manufactured by the defense contractor I represent.
We also need to impose smart sanctions so that we ruin the economy and make people suffer so they realize we're their friends and they should overthrow the government.
And we have to roll back Badish influence in the region or it will establish land bridges to attack our allies. Badistan has already infiltrated Europe and is smuggling operatives into the U.S. by sending them through the Mexican border in cooperation with Venezuelan drug cartels.
Not to mention the Badistan Electronic Army's repeated attempts to meddle in our elections.
What? Where are you getting this from?
It's classified.
Oh, of course it is.
My sources tell me that Badistan is amassing chemical and biological weapons to stage preemptive attacks on American cities.
And we know from unnamed Pentagon officials that elite Badistan intelligence units control 98% of the global prostitution trade.
This is insane. You people have no evidence to back any of this up. What we do know is the U.S. is already arming the rebels. The U.S. has been intervening. That's partly why there's a war there in the first place. Your viewers need to be informed that the U.S. has been backing a right-wing, reactionary, violent opposition.
Oh, I'm afraid that's all the time we have today. We'll have to leave it there.
You're kidding. I barely got to talk.
Up next, we talk about the recent terrorist attack that is definitely blowback from our last military intervention, but we'll pretend it isn't. Stay tuned.